Alright, but welcome back to the Arena Football Nation channel. And in today's video, we got a recap of Week 8 in the National Arena League. Had 3 games on the docket for this week, all on Saturday, April 26th. 3 good matchups to watch. If you haven't yet, check them out on YouTube. Once again, it is back on YouTube. They have a new channel. But anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, in the first game, we had the Beaumont Renegades traveling to take on the Sioux City Bandits. And like I said before in the other video, this was a rematch of that early season loss for the Sioux City Bandits. Big start of the season for Beaumont, and they are now 3-0 going into this game. So looking to continue to have that freshman year success they're having, being one of the big stories of not only NAL but all of indoor and arena football. Having a team that is, in their first year doing as well as they are and have as much success as they are. So Sioux City obviously looking to bounce back after that loss to the Beef in that big rivalry game, that I-29 rivalry. So this was a solid match to check out. And yeah, like I said, Renegades are going to make a big splash this year in the NAL. And they are 3-0. And they are now traveling to take on the Bandits in Iowa. So Bandits looking to have that home field advantage in this game. And like I said, the last time they squared off was in Texas, where Beaumont took the win 49-46 in a nail-biter. And all the games have been so far for Beaumont have been pretty solid matchups coming down to the end of the wire, So this looks to be another no-doubter, awesome matchup, and some prime-time football for arena indoor football fans. And absolutely mind-blowing how well they're doing. In this matchup, the Beaumont Renegades ended up coming out as victors again, 38-35 over the Bandits. Pretty awesome matchup. This was going to be, the game of the week, obviously, for the NAL. The Beaumont just surging and doing really well. And the Sioux City Bandits, they put the undefeated Renegades to the test on Saturday night, as this game was, like I said, a really fun one to watch. Bandits and their crazy fans made sure Beaumont was in for a tough night. And at halftime, you had a stalemate with 13-13 being the score. But the Renegades did not seem to have a chance to pull away with an easy victory, as it was a tight game. And just like most games that the Beaumont has played, they really stepped up, and every game has been a solid matchup. Some of the best teams in the league, so pretty impressive. And then you have Sioux City. They're defending their home turf and entered the final quarter of play ahead 27-19, looking like they might hand the Renegades their first loss this season. The game, like usual, came down to the final seconds, and a buzzer beater touchdown thrown by Renegades quarterback Carl Robinson to wide receiver Josh Neal sealed the game shut as time expired on that play. So another walk-off win for Beaumont. Beaumont remains the only unbeaten team in National Arena League play at 4-0 after this game, and that was handing the Bandits their second loss to the Renegades, and second time they lost by only 3 points. So what an exciting matchup, down to the wire. You can't ask for more as a fan, not only of these two teams or of the sport. Just a really fun game to watch, and really impressed by Beaumont. 4-0 now. Sioux City at 2-3 after this loss. Man, what a great matchup! What a story, and out of Beaumont. And we really got to start talking about them being, potential favorites to get that, all-important #1 seed in the playoffs, if not being a dark horse at this point to win it all in the end of the season. So, really awesome matchup there. Next, you had the Columbus Lions traveling to take on the Colorado Spartans, making the big trip cross-country to play in this matchup. And this will be the first time in history that these two NAL teams will meet in Denver, Colorado, as both teams continue their fight to climb the top of their divisions, with both ranking second between the American and National divisions. So pretty interesting and important matchup here. The Lions have yet to gain their first road victory, so this is a pretty interesting matchup for them. Spartans started the season on 3 straight road games, going 1-2. Since then, they have bounced back, winning back-to-back home games, and look to extend that winning streak to 3 in a row against the Columbus Lions. So pretty important matchup and exciting storyline as they moved in that new arena, and so far things have been going great for them. So like I said, Lions took that long trip to Denver to face the Colorado Spartans, and this turned out to be another Saturday stunner in the National Arena League. Really exciting matchup. Came down to the final minutes of this game And this was the first time these two teams have faced off once again, so that's another cool stat there to go into this game. But it took Columbus some time to get used to the elevation as the Spartans came out striking first, 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. Lions, however, did not stay quiet, of course. Columbus had a good second quarter, scoring 14 points and holding the Spartans to only 7. So really settling in and coming within their own and starting to fight back against the Spartans. Second half was a heavyweight matchup with scores from both teams going back and forth, really, settling in and trading blows there as it became down to the wire and was an exciting finish. But the Spartans outlasted the Lions, winning 42-38 in this matchup, continuing their home winning streak in their new arena to 3-0. So massive win for the Colorado Spartans, not only for that home crowd and what they're building there, but just in the standings and for them going forward the rest of the season. Knocking off the Columbus Lions is no easy feat, and this is a big win at home. Gotta say, I'm pretty happy and excited to see them getting some more fans. It looks like that transition to that new arena is working out for them. So really awesome to see that for the Spartans. Lions, man, this is 3 in a row they've lost, so they're really reeling now. Not very characteristic at all of the Columbus Lions to lose this many games in a season, let alone in a row. So pretty crazy to see that, but I'm sure they're going to fix it, whatever issues they have going on. This was a long road trip, obviously, for them, so they're not used to doing stuff like that. Usually they're more geographically close when it comes to their long trips, but props for them making the trip all the way to Colorado and put up a solid matchup. This was a fun game to watch, and yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Big win for the Spartans, but at the end of the day, we all win as fans because this was another really exciting matchup. All right, in our last game on the docket, you had the Las Vegas Kings traveling to take on the Idaho Horsemen in this non-league matchup. Idaho in that recent game getting blanked, they're looking to bounce back for sure and figure out what was the issue there. And Las Vegas Kings, we've seen them before, so it's pretty interesting to see multiple teams facing them and getting some non-league matchups with them. So Idaho has shown great resilience, despite struggling against the Bandits in their season opener. They battled the defending champion Omaha Beef, almost serving the Beef their first loss of the season in that 28-24 matchup score. Running on that momentum, they took down the Rougarou to get their first win of the season and had a win streak after beating the Carolina Cobras a week later, 34-21. So pretty good turnaround for the Horsemen. Like I said, I figured the not only the Horsemen but also the Spartans are going to be two teams that are going to surprise some people and they were going to turn it around, especially if they had a slow start to the season and maybe upset some people. And it was looking pretty good for Idaho until that most recent loss they had. But Spartans obviously doing really well. They're surging. Hopefully Idaho can turn around. This is a good come-up game right here. A little rebound action as they face the Kings. But yeah, that loss to the rival Colorado Spartans on the road, that was a rough one, especially getting blanked. So looking to bounce back here against the Las Vegas Kings and excite and energize that home crowd. And yes, of course, the Idaho Horsemen put on a show for the fans with a high-scoring game, putting up 62 points in Nampa, Idaho. Horsemen advanced at 3-3 overall after the win, and that was what they needed exactly, was a good game just to turn it around, get the fans excited and happy, get some confidence in that team, and get a big win there at home. They're looking to continue their success going forward. All right, you get the players of the week. For offense, you had Alexis Rosario, running back for Colorado Spartans. He had 61 rushing yards for 3 rushing touchdowns. Your defensive player of the week, you had Sam Hammond, defensive line, Colorado Spartans. He had 4 tackles for 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. And then special teams, you had Luis Ferreira, kicker for the Colorado Spartans. He had 3 point after attempts with 1 field goal and 1 deuce. So all around, you had Colorado Spartan players taking players of the week in this one, as that was a really awesome win for them, of course, here in Week 8. All right, let's take a look at next week's matchups, as we have 4 games on the docket for you. Would have originally been 5, but unfortunately, the Carolina Cobras have went dormant this year in a sad situation there, as the team kind of fell apart there at the end of that last game and are not going to continue the rest of the season. So you got 3 matchups on Saturday, May 3rd, and 1 on Sunday, May 4th. First one, you got the Rougarou going to take on the Beaumont Renegades in that American Division matchup. You got a little expansion battle there between the two teams. Beaumont storyline is looking really solid. What a great storyline for them, not only in the NAL but also in the overall arena and indoor football world. 3-0, beating obviously three solid teams in the NAL. So they're going to continue that success and that storyline there. Rougarou looking to get back into the balance of things after the bye. Columbus Lions were supposed to go and travel to take on the Carolina Cobras, but like I said, the Cobras went dormant. They are done for the season in a shocking turn of events, unfortunately for them. So Lions, I assume, would have the bye. Then you have the Omaha Beef looking to host the Dallas Falcons in a little exhibition matchup. Essentially, another little game there for them to just get a big win at home, excite the fans, maybe work on some schemes, what have you. So looking to have a quick little win there for the Beef. Then you have the Wheeling Miners traveling to take on the Colorado Spartans. And the Colorado Spartans, they're looking really solid, 3-0 in their new arena. Obviously surging right now. They're if we're talking and doing really well, scoring a lot of points. Offense is really coming together. Defense is also looking solid. So they'll continue that home field advantage there at the Denver Coliseum. Wheeling also coming off the big win there against the Cobras, essentially putting the team away permanently, I guess you could say. And the Wheeling Miners, it's going to be exciting to see if they can overcome the long travel and the elevation and put up a fight against the Colorado Spartans, who are now surging at home. Then on Sunday, May 4th, you have the Sioux City Bandits traveling to take on the Idaho Horsemen. Another little solid National Division matchup there. Both teams looking to bounce back and separate themselves there in that playoff picture. And we'll take a look at the standings going into next week. Like I said, you have the Beaumont Renegades in the American Division. Now at 4-0, the lone standing undefeated team left in the National Arena League. Really impressed by them. Like I said, what a storyline. So really crazy to see how well they're doing. Let's see if they continue to have this success going forward. You got the Rougarou there in second place. Man, what isn't this just crazy to see? The two expansion sides are at the top of the American Division. When you have the Cobras, the Miners, and the Lions, 3 solid teams who you've been solid for they have that history behind them, unlike the 2 expansion teams, and they're projected to be playoff contender teams. So if the playoffs are to start today, you have Beaumont and the Rougarou taking that spot. So pretty crazy to see. But anyways, like I said, the Rougarou, they're at 2-2. They're in the second place spot. So man, they're still in the playoff hunt. Obviously, they can still win out or win a good amount of games and separate themselves as well. Then in third place, you have the Columbus Lions, kind of reeling there with 3 losses in a row. They're at 2-3 on the season, and they're the one team that is shocking me the most outside of the Carolina Cobras, as you usually have a really stout and aggressive defense, and the offense is never a slouch either. So the Lions there at third place. Then in fourth place, you have the Wheeling Miners. They're resurging, bouncing back from that early season tough start. They're now 2-3. And I fully expect them to, make a playoff push here going forward. And in fifth place, of course, you have the Carolina Cobras. They're at 2-4. They have bowed out of the season, going dormant is what they said in their press release. Either way, they're done for the year. So that is an absolutely insane thing to say. I didn't think I would ever say that, but man, the signs were there, unfortunately, and we could see it in that last Wheeling Miner matchup. Things were not looking good and not normal for the Carolina Cobras. So very unfortunate to see, but they are officially out going into the rest of the season. Now let's take a look at the National Division. You have that 4-team National Division. You got Omaha Beef still on top. They are 4-1, still the class of the division, and until somebody knocks them off, they're going to be right up there at the top. And the first team that I could see doing it, you got the Colorado Spartans. They're really coming within their own. You got that 3-0 home field advantage they got going on for them. So really impressed with what they are putting together there with Coach Shaw. So really impressed with them. Like I said, they're 4-2. Next up in third place, you have the Idaho Horsemen. They're 3-3. Had that blowout loss, but they're going to look to turn around. I still think there's something there that they can salvage and make a little push. Uncharacteristically, you have the Sioux City Bandits in the 4th spot at 2-3. Pretty crazy to see that. Obviously, you have the Colorado Spartans and Idaho Horsemen above them, but who knows? I don't expect that to last forever, obviously. A couple of close losses for them. They're going to look to bounce back as well. All right, everybody, that will do it for this week's video. Like the video if you enjoy this kind of content, and subscribe if you have not yet to follow along for more Arena Indoor Football content. All right, everybody, I'll see you in the next one.